Hi all, this is Fawaz Muhammad. Welcome to SharePoint World. So in our last video we worked on reading SharePoint list item using SPFx. So in our last video we did we have some records in our employee side. So by using the web part we just displayed those items in our work page. Today we are going to do delete functionality. SharePoint SPFx. So what's the plan? We have certain records here, so we will add one text box and one delete button. So whenever we type the ID in text box and we delete, those will be deleted. So like that we are going to implement. So the ID which belongs to this, so this is the ID which we are going to type the. So let us start. So first we have to implement the text box and the button. So we will copy and we will go one by one. So now we will open our solution. So here after the read item we are just pasting that thing, like we have a text and we provide the ID, employee ID, and the button delete. So let's just refresh and we'll run. We'll check whether so now the text box and the button came. Okay, now we have to implement the delete functionality. So let us look. So first we have to bind the functionality to button delete. So just implement those things. So button delete, in our click event we have to give the function. So we will put the function name, this function name delete record. Okay. So now we already binded the delete record. So now we have to write the method. So let's paste. Okay. So first thing we have to get the ID. So we have to get the ID from employee ID. So we are just binding by using get element by ID. So we got the ID. Next thing we have the URL. So previously whenever we worked on inserting to item, we have the same parameter, but we need actually the body. But in our current scenario we are implementing delete functionality. So here we need only the headers. So the properties are first thing the URL. So the URL we have to provide the REST API URL. So in our case get by title, the list name, employee list, and the item ID. So the ID which we got from here. The next thing headers. So the header we need for delete the XHTTP method delete and if match. So this both is needed for delete functionality. Now our third parameter SPHTTP client option, we are just adding the headers. Then the same thing in our post method we are binding the URL, the configuration version, and the client option. Also in our response we just putting the success message record deleted. So let us run. We will type ID3 and we'll click the delete button. So record is deleted. So now if we check our employee side, when we refresh here, John is deleted. Also if we click on the read list item, so John is deleted.